look, I got to tell you, the level of stupid of college athletics has reached the thug, jackassery, criminal, murderous proportion. We saw a murder. I want you to think about this in New Mexico State with the basketball program. And that didn't stop them from being idiots. Then they had to shut down the entire program. I've told you forever that the AAU culture is coming to college basketball and college football. I mean, this goes back, you know the name Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose's brothers were complete thug idiots. They would point guns at people at AAU tournaments. They laid down a gun on a table, allegedly, because somebody asked them to pay like $5 to get into an AAU tournament. This is AAU boys gone wild, crazy stuff, what we're getting into in college sports. But the problem is this. The problem is it has led to murder. It's no longer, hey, Jameis Winston stole crab legs or got on a table yelling, grab him by the you-know-whats. Now we're talking about cold-blooded thug murder by basketball players and coaches that have no cojones and cover it up, and broadcasters that tell you that everybody's great in college basketball. Oh, my God, everybody. Every coach is great. Every coach is wonderful. All you got to do is win a few games. Hell, I worked for Calvin Sampson. Look, he cheated so many different ways and didn't get caught. It was ridiculous. I used to get a kick out of it. And I got there after all of the cheating had occurred. He was still doing it. But yet we praise these guys. Bob Huggins is going into the National Basketball Hall of Fame. I have a great Bob Huggins cheating story, and I can tell you the amount, $10,000. I can tell you the school, Maine Central Institute. I can tell you the guy who provided the money, the great Brett Barup, the late Brett Barup. I can tell you what they tried to do. They tried to get a high school kid at Canton McKinley High School to not graduate. This guy, Huggins, is going into the National Basketball Hall of Fame, and every little media twerp and every little coach is like, oh, Huggy. That's the level of college basketball. But it's not just now because of NIL. That's where we got it all wrong. It's not that. It's absolutely not that. What it is this is how it's always been, but it's exasperated. $10,000, being a dirtbag like Huggins, trying to get a kid not to graduate so he wouldn't come to Bowling Green, send him to a prep school. I could get into the rules, but it would bore you. That's nickel-dime stuff. That's penny-ante stuff compared to murder at New Mexico State, murder now at Alabama, and a coach that doesn't want to discipline his player. All right, let's get into Alabama first. Alabama, Nick Saban. Oh, great, man. Let's put a statue to Nick Saban. Wonder how many criminals, felons, he's coached. Do you know Tom Osborne, the legendary coach turned senator, had an actual board about what you have to do as a criminal to not play? Do you know this? A board, like a felony, okay, you missed a game. 3 misdemeanors, you were out. It was ridiculous. One of my assistant coaches, Andy Markowski, was a Nebraska player, and he told me all about this, and I'm sitting there going, here I am at Bowling Green, and if you smoke weed, I'm kicking you out. And I'm a pariah. I'm a pariah, seriously. I'm a pariah in college basketball. It's incredible. Like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to get church-like on you. At our church, Traders Point, they talk about being a rebel. I talked about this the other day. Used to be being a rebel is James Dean, right? Cigarette, leather, motorcycle, white T-shirt, rebel. Now being a rebel is doing what I do. Now being a rebel is telling you the truth. Being a rebel in my world is standing up to some frickin' town called Scottsburg, Indiana, because they fired a young coach and his family, sticking up for my basketball program at Indiana University when they had dudes cheating. That's amazing. That's being a rebel now, because we're all supposed to go along with this crap, right? I saw a guy say, well, you know, if my teammate called me and needed his gun, in the middle of the night, I knew he was in trouble, I'd bring that gun. Really? Let me tell you something. If my teammate needed a gun in the middle of the night in Bloomington, Indiana, I'd transfer the next day. Because I didn't sign up to be around jackasses for 4 years. That's not what I'm going to college for. Now, I get it. My sensibilities might be different, and I felt this way when I was in college. So let's go back to what started this whole deal, in my opinion. Let's go back to the football season. Tennessee beats Alabama. And Alabama's little pain in the backside wide receiver, Jermaine Burton, is walking off the field. Let's show the video. We'll show you video. This is Alabama. He's walking off the field. And just because he decides, well, I think I'm just going to whack right there, slap a young lady. Let me just take a swing. And the legend, the legendary coach, Nick Saban, you know what he did? Nothing. Didn't do a damn thing. Didn't do a damn thing. Didn't do nothing. Nothing. Not a single thing. Nothing. Guy played. Saban made excuses. Next thing you know, he's got no punishment, at least external. So let's fast forward. Middle of the night. For whatever the reason, there's a hassle. There's a hassle downtown. Darius Miles gets in a hassle. There's a woman named Jemai Harris. Somehow, some way, her car gets blocked. Somehow, some way, a gun is needed downtown. How about that? So this guy apparently left his strap, because I want to sound cool, left his strap in first round pick, top 5 pick, Darius Miles. So Brandon Miller. So Brandon Miller gets a call. Hey, man, bring my strap. Okay, tough guy. I mean, you can't handle it without a gun. That's fine. That's fine. All right? At the end of the day, gun is brought. There's, they use the cool kids language, right? There's a hole in the chamber or whatever they call it, whatever stupid stuff they say. Gun guy says. It's not like, hey, man, there's one. Gun guy's got all the verbiage. You talk to gun guy, and I don't care whether you have guns, and it don't matter to me. You do whatever you want. But gun guy's got all the verbiage, right? So they use, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Long story short, a woman is dead. A woman is dead. Now, I want you to think about that just for a second. A woman on the strip of Alabama's campus is dead. Dead by a basketball player that needed a gun in a hassle. A chicken blank basketball player. If you're tough enough to get in a hassle, you don't need your strap. Throw some hands if you got to, I guess. So then, of course, Brandon Miller, the guy who brought the gun, apparently, for whatever the reason, according to police report, his car was blocking the people, the lady. His car got shot twice. And all blood and guts. All blood and guts. Nate Oates, who I've told you is a punk. I've told you on this show is a punk. Nate Oates comes out when it is finally discovered that his star player is involved in this. And Oates said, wrong place, wrong time. Really? The dude brought a freaking gun. Prosecutors, we can't prosecute him. Okay, fine. And then I got idiots telling me, well, he didn't do anything illegal, so you can't suspend him. Well, I could suspend you if you didn't go to class. That ain't illegal. I can suspend you if you flunk a drug test. That ain't illegal. I can suspend you for whatever. Why? You're telling me, and this is where society's got it wrong. There is a website called Coaching Changes. And I'm going to give them pub because they're so stupid they deserve pub. They do. They deserve pub. They deserve all the pub they can get. I said, if a teammate calls me and says, bring my gun, I'm transferring. I didn't sign up to be around dumbasses. All right? There you go. So these idiots who do it anonymously because they have no guts, I expect libs to clutch their pearls anytime there's a gun involved, but I wasn't expecting this from Dan. Gun owners are dumbass, according to Dan. Fascinating. No, murderers are. Murderers are. And I don't expect these idiots, I don't expect it. But I'm different. I'm a rebel. right? I think in terms of integrity, and all your little broadcasts are going to tell you, and they've told you forever, Nate Oates is a great guy. Nate Oates is a punk.
I was shocked because Nate Oates went up in that press conference gathering and said what he said. But here's the thing. You can't tell me that the head basketball coach at Alabama in the athletic department did not know what was about to come during that testimony yesterday. First off, he had a reasoning and he had an excuse for Brandon Miller during that press conference. So what does that tell you? That tells you that Nate Oates already knew what was going to be said yesterday during the court hearing on probable cause. So that's what threw me off at first. Like I was, because when he came out with the statement last night, I was like, well, wait a minute. Okay. You're talking about timing. You got other people coming to your rescue saying you just come off the basketball court and you're trying to answer this question. My thing is, no. I know how it works at Alabama. They let them know what's going on. The coaches have a heads up. So, say all that to say this. I was shocked at how long it could be kept under wraps that Brandon Miller is in some form a part of this. In some way, he had the gun in his car that came to the scene. That some way he was questioned numerous times, that his car was actually shot up during this incident as it was being, parked behind the Jeep. So when the shooter is firing through the front of the Jeep driver's side window, it's hitting Brandon Miller's vehicle. I'm shocked by all of it. I'm shocked by the statement of Nate Oates because that tells me they didn't have him prepared for what was going to happen yesterday. And you know what? You look at the whole situation. You don't charge him. You say you can't find a way to charge him. I'll tell you this. I did some digging until about 2:30 this morning in the Alabama's Code of Conduct for Students. And you know about this stuff as well, being a college basketball coach. I found 5 things in that code of conduct when it comes to the students that they, as a university, could suspend Brandon Miller even if the police decided they didn't want to charge him with anything. That's what threw me off. I mean, the first thing I looked upon last night was, well, you can't have a gun on campus or you can't be transporting a weapon on campus. Okay, well, that was the first offense I came across in the code of conduct last night. And what happened? He put a gun in the back of his car, transported it to a scene. It turned into a murder. I'm stunned. I look at it. I'm thinking, okay, where do they go from here? Brandon Miller going to take the court tonight for Alabama. Nate Oates, you better be prepared because I promise you the questions that are going to be coming tonight post-game are not going to be about the basketball game, period. And I just feel like that they have handled this the wrong way. I do understand this part as well. I had a person, I'm going to read this to you yesterday. I had a criminal defense attorney reach out to me yesterday, and this is what he said. He said, I don't think you need a permit to carry in Alabama anymore. I'm not 100% sure on that law, but it is not a crime here because Miller didn't know what was going on. He was just bringing him the gun. Same way it wouldn't be a crime for a son, not a small child, but old enough to understand, to grab his dad's gun out of the car and bring it to him in the kitchen. Now, if the son walks away and the dad shoots the mom, the son didn't commit a crime. This is even more so true here when he got it for Miles, then Miles gave it to Davis. So what I'm getting at, you can try to get him for accessory, which they tried. I think that they let that one play out. Wasn't going to happen. And now you look at it from a sense of, okay, so what technically could it be charged with? Well, if he can't be charged with anything by the law, and I'm not a legal expert, I'm not a lawyer in the state of Alabama, I just live there. for 17 years. Okay. So I feel like that if anything, you suspend him from a university standpoint and you put this thing to the side. How many times have we seen this, Dan? How many times have we seen student athletes be suspended for something very, very much smaller than what's going on in Tuscaloosa right now?
Hey, thanks for watching Don't At Me with me, Dan Dakich. Make sure to like, subscribe, or click the notification bell for more of my beautiful face. Check out my full show to my right, or watch this other video. See ya.